You know, guys, I would say I'm surprised by something like this because I haven't really seen anything like this ever happen before in COD. But the more I think about it, I'm not really surprised, and whether or not it's Infinity Ward who did this or Activision who did this, I've seen some pretty questionable things come out of those two in the last couple of years. But for the sake of not necessarily completely blaming the devs, even though they are partly at fault for this, I'm gonna go ahead and just say this is an Activision thing, and I did hear about this whenever Season 1 launched, and I kind of know why they did this change. I'm not a big fan of the change, but the reasoning behind the change is really what bothers me. And I'll go ahead and talk about that in a minute, but I just need to remind people out there, just because I make critical content about MW2, alright, Gooch Lickers, pay attention. I know it's kind of difficult, but pay attention. Compared to the last 3 years of COD, and I know that's kind of a difficult pill to swallow for a lot of people, but it's just my opinion, I personally don't hate this game. It's definitely still a pile of camel ass, but I don't hate it. I don't think this game is still where it needs to be. There are things that definitely need to improve in this game, and those are the things that I talk about for the most part. First thing though, just to add a little bit of positivity into this video, in classic Infinity Ward fashion, there are no patch notes for this possible update, but according to a lot of people and Exclusive Ace, it appears the footsteps are back to normal again. I heard from a reliable source that this was in fact an unintended bug and it must have been fixed in one of the many hot fixes we've been seeing. If this is true, thank you, Infinity Ward. But also, if it's true, I don't know how you guys fucked that one up, but whatever, it's water under the bridge right now. The main thing I wanted to talk about today was the change to the solid camo colors in MW 2019 Part 2. Now, I'm a big fan of camos. I'm a big fan of camo challenging, other than in Vanguard because it was fucking stupid over there. But in this game, one of the things that I genuinely do appreciate about this game is the fact that the camo grind is really different and it's very engaging, and I actually really like it. My favorite camo patterns are the solid colors. Now, you've seen me rocking the pink camo, and I know a lot of people want to say some weird shit about that, but listen up, alright? I like the neon colors. In COD, we don't really see things like this usually. I'm a fan, alright? Piss off. But, as you know, in recent times with Infinity Ward and Activision, if there is so much as a golden nugget in the fat pile of horse shit that they give you, I guess to them that's too much and we do not deserve it. Because my assumption is Activision made the devs kind of turn down the vibrance of these colors on this camo. And again, I don't know who did this. It could have been Infinity Ward all on their own, but more than likely it was the pew-beating morons over at Activision that probably did this. I'll get into the reasoning in a minute, but this is a very clear photo of before and after the change. We have this very bright neon blue color camo. This was before the update. This is after the update. I don't know why they did this. I'm not a fan of the change, even though the color itself after I still think is okay. It's definitely not as good as it was before. Now, this might seem very nitpicky to a lot of people. Let me just remind you that in a game where I really don't enjoy that many things, this was one of the things that I truly did enjoy. I liked the fact that it was vibrant. I liked the fact that it covered the entire gun for the most part. And I liked the fact that I didn't have to pay for the shit. I had to earn it through a challenge, whether or not the challenge was even that challenging. Personally, I don't know how you guys go about this, but if I went out of my way to earn something, that earnable piece of whatever is mine. I don't think you need to change it after the fact. But trust me, I understand this is a little bit nitpicky, and normally I wouldn't even bother talking about this until I kind of realized what the reasoning was behind this change. Guys, the timing on this is really poor. This change happened at the exact same moment as Season 1 when the shop opened. Now, if you're a newer subscriber and you haven't been here for that long, there is one big thing that I preach on this channel very consistently. I am all for paying full price for the game. In this game, it's a little bit different because this game is incomplete, but for the most part, whatever the standard price is for the game, $60, $70, I will put that down, buy the game, and that is the most amount of money that I'll pay in COD nowadays. In 2019, I bought maybe 2 bundles. In Cold War, I bought 1. In Vanguard, I bought none. And in this game, no matter what they do, I am not buying a single bundle. I'm not all for the whole $20 to $25. In some cases, we've seen like $40 bundles. No, you can miss me with that shit. The Scatmaster's not falling for it. It doesn't matter what cosmetics they bring into the game. You could bring Jesus Christ as a playable character in this game, and I am not copping that shit. For what reason? Because most of the time, the games are poorly developed, the games should all arguably be delayed, the production that went into the game does not match the final product, and the bundles, for what they are, which is just cosmetics, are very overpriced, especially when the game itself is $60 to $70, and you're not even catering to the community that buys your base game, and they're clearly made to look a lot better than whatever's in the base game. For one bundle, mind you, to me, it doesn't really add up, but when we're talking about Activision, these money-hungry, greedy, fat pigs, all they think about is the dollar sign. And a lot of people give them the dollar sign, so you know what, it makes sense from their perspective. But I think a change like this was not accidental. It seems very intentional, because what reason would you have to go out of your way and make a gun camo look less good? Again, I was a fan of this camo pattern, but it seems like they made them all pretty dull, and now that the shop is open with their own camos that you can only buy, and look, I know I just talked shit about the bundles. Some of the shit in these bundles I would buy, just not entirely as a whole package. But when it comes to like the camo patterns, I would totally buy the individual camo color for like $5 the way that we used to back in like Black Ops 2 and in Ghosts. That's not a very demanding price, and if this is a camo that we could put on every single gun in the game, I would personally buy a lot of these. But the fact that there was something earnable in this game that I had to go out of my way for, even if it wasn't challenging, that's not my problem, that's the devs' problem. If it's a nice reward at the end, why the hell are you shitting on my reward after the fact? Again, this is not something that particularly happens in COD. I've never seen a camo pattern get changed for the worse, and of the camo patterns that I do have to earn in most of these recent CODs, none of them really stand out to me besides the mastery camos, and that's even a stretch for some of these games. Personally, I'm not a fan of the change, and I'm definitely not a fan of the reasoning behind it. It's pretty obvious that that is the reason. If you can think of something else, I mean, let me know, I guess. And before people want to throw out the whole, oh well, the camo pattern isn't that realistic to begin with, and this is supposed to be a realistic COD Fooly. Again, if you want to bring up the argument about realism in COD, and especially in MW2, let me go ahead and put this on the screen again. Yeah, enjoy messy scrotum, bitch. Moving on, I just talked about an adjustment to the bundles where you could just buy the camos themselves for like $5 a piece. Before people want to start talking about, oh, you're broke, Fooly, you're just broke, you can't afford the... Shut the fuck up. I'm not gonna get into the money aspect of YouTube, but trust me, I can afford the shit. I choose not to buy it because it's fucking stupid. Personally, when it comes to my idea about just buying the camos themselves for a lesser price, I think that's a wonderful idea. I don't know how many of you guys would agree with that. Personally, I think it's a great idea. If you could buy the tracers even, just individually, I also think that's a great idea. We've already seen them change the battle pass from one entire linear thing that you had to do from start to finish to a system where you could just do piece by piece. Why can't we do the same for the bundles? I'm not really trying to pay $25 for a skin that I can't even see, a camo pattern that I do think is nice, and maybe a tracer pack that I do think is nice as well, and then the rest is just filler content like stickers and fucking sprays and emotes and dumb shit like that. Why can't I choose which part of that bundle I can purchase, obviously for a lesser price? From a business point of view, look, as the Scadmaster, I'll buy your $60 to $70 game, but I'm not paying $25 for a stupid bundle. I'll pay $5 for a camo that I could put on every single gun, and I might buy a few of those. So tell me what you think about a customer who pays $0 after the game's launch, but if this change were to happen, I would probably spend a few dollars on this game after launch. Also, Activision, or Infinity Ward, whoever did this, I'm still not sure. Whoever's responsible for this change, shame on you for having one of the most basic things about this game that I did enjoy, and then ruining it because some of these camos look better than what's been in the shop over the last few years. You wanted our free earnable content that looked good to look worse just to make the monetized content look better. Personally, I haven't seen some shit like that in COD before. And look, when people say I'm just hating on the devs and hating on Activision, hating on COD, how do you support some shit like that? No, it doesn't necessarily ruin the game. It doesn't really change my personal experience. But for somebody who didn't really like what this game had to offer, the one thing that I did enjoy, you began to water it down because I didn't spend money on it. Look, if you guys support this type of change, you guys are different. I I don't know what to tell you. Look, it's bad enough that the launch of this game was extremely poor. Season 1 for the most part is a dud, and a change like this for the sake of the shop being more successful, it honestly just feels like a slap in the face, and I really wish they hadn't tweaked these camos because honestly, this is one of the very few things that I do enjoy about this game. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Do you think this change was intentional? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos, and yeah guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles. It's been a very long time since the weekend. It's been a